So one of the things that I'm fond of covering on the show each year is the satanic symbolism slipped into the Super Bowl halftime show. After all, nothing we see from the corporate media is by chance, especially when we're talking about the biggest show on earth. As we read from Wikipedia here, according to the Nielsen ratings, out of the top 30 most watched telecasts, 27 are Super Bowls. The fake Apollo 11 moon landing is considered the most watched broadcast of all time, with an estimated viewership of between 125 and 150 million. However, the Apollo 11 moon landing is considered a news event and not a telecast. And Fox's live telecast of Super Bowl 59, just recently on February 9th, holds the record for the largest average viewership of any live network U.S. televised broadcast, with 127.7 million viewers. But to start off with, something I found even more fascinating than the halftime show itself was the reaction from some of these MAGA influencers and patriot posers online, who I guess are now encouraging their followers to consult with the Oracle of Lamar to get a glimpse into the future of where our nation is headed.
Kendrich Lamar, and I'm going to get to this next hour, how the Super Bowl became the Trump Bowl, the Populist Bowl, the Anti-Globalist Bowl, got up and at halftime with Samuel L. Jackson dressed up like Uncle Sam and sang a long song that's a number one hit, as you know. Even I know about that. Exposing the P. Diddy Drake groups and openly calling them out as files. And they knew what song he was going to play, and the NFL backed it. Now, can you imagine that a year ago? Yeah. It's on, folks, like Donkey Kong. Think the globalists are happy in Hollywood that now there's rapper up there saying, what's he say over and over again? We're not with them. We're not them. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They're files. They're kids. They're evil. They want to hurt you. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. That's what I've been saying. They not like us. We know you're evil, globalists. Telling the public, they not like us. 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 Klaus Schwab not like us. King Charles not like us. Barack Obama, they are not like us. And there's double meaning to that. They not like us. They don't like us, and they're not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They're not with us. They not like us. Last Super Bowl's a bunch of devil-worshipping stuff. You see any of that here? Over and over again. They not like us. And then you listen to the lyrics. So I've heard the song, a little bit about it, but when I didn't watch it last night, but I researched it when I got up at 4 a.m. And then I was like, let me read the lyrics of this. In fact, print me, I know it's a 20-minute song, the full one is, but get me the lyrics for it, please. I'm going to cover it next hour because, it looks like I wrote it. So, again, this is a great awakening.
Following the Super Bowl, info grifters all over X, including self-proclaimed tip of the spear Alex Jones, were parroting the same narrative, that Kendrich Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance had sent a clear message to the global cabal that their time is up, even if I personally couldn't really make out a word of what this guy was actually saying.
Peekaboo. I just put the buggers in my chain. Peekaboo. 80 pointers like a Kobe game. Peekaboo. 7.62s, I make them plain. Peekaboo. I'm popping out your band, that's what my name. Peekaboo. I put 2 foreigns on a full 5. Peekaboo. That's got your pepper if I'm doing pasta. Peekaboo. Why you acting tough on IG Live? Peekaboo. You know my loved ones with that. Let's get it.
So I was just curious, being old and out of touch as I am, I really didn't have any idea who this guy was, gyrating on stage, making animalistic grunting noises. So I thought I'd do a little research, digging into, see what other kind of gems I could pull from Kendrick Lamar's profound rap lyrics. This is what I found.
My greatest music director was you. You fell out of heaven cause you was anxious. Didn't like authority, only searched to be heinous. Isaiah 14 was the only thing that was prevalent.
So the guy who some call the world's greatest rapper says his greatest music director fell out of heaven because he didn't like authority. Ah yes, that sounds familiar.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, the destiny thing. I mean, I made a bargain with it, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my end.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
With the with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And then this earth, and then in a world we can't see.
And what was that scripture reference in Isaiah 14 all about? Well, I looked it up. Isaiah 14, 11 through 14. And this is the King James Version, in case you're curious why all of a sudden I'm speaking in Old English. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and thy noise of thy musical instruments. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That from the guy who, I guess, has previously called himself a Christian. Yeah, just kind of like Kanye is a Christian, right? And like Kanye, Kendrich has repeatedly taken on the names of God, referring to himself in one song as the Alpha and the Omega.
They like, what he on? This the Alpha and Omega. Welcome home. This is not a song. This is a revelation. How to get a on.
Need me to survive. The Elohim, the rebirth. Before you get to the Father, you gotta holler at me first.
While in another interview, he lists Lucy, or Lucifer, as a source of inspiration for his music.
There's also parts in the album where you speak to Lucy, Lucifer.
Yeah. I may do an after party, and this is how I'll be able to write these records, because it's not just the positive energy that speaks to me, it's the negative too, it's the evils too, and we all have temptations. Lucy is one of my favorite records because it's me actually coming to realization of the evils rather than acting like it's not going around.
But it reminded me a little bit of Snoop.
Yeah.
And Murder Was the Case.
Mm-hmm.
Where he had that conversation with the devil, with Lucifer, and that temptation was in his face.
They not like us, right? Ain't that the truth? Well, what comes to me is you'd think someone like Alex Jones, who has spent the past 3 decades studying the enemy, fighting the InfoWar, would know this by now. The sad fact that in a very real sense, to reach the top in this fallen world, you really have to be owned by the temporary ruler of this world. Again, the devil takes him up into an exceeding high mountain, and shows him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, All these will I give thee, if you will fall down and worship me. A real Christian doesn't have to go dumpster diving to get their daily bread, searching for hidden meanings in the lyrics of Satanist rappers who've been propped up by the satanic music industry to get a glimpse into the future.
You've got one of the most popular songs in America that's won all the big top awards in the last year. Not Like Us. And it's a song exposing pedophilia in the music industry in Hollywood. So A, that's the most popular song. That shows people are really awake. B, it's at the Super Bowl while Trump comes and dominates the whole thing. It's countless standing ovations. And then you listen to the song, it's talking about people abusing and how they are not like us.
God's sure word is sufficient, and it has proven itself reliable time and time again over the course of human history, predicting the rise and fall of whole kingdoms, over thousands and thousands of years. But for anyone curious as to what I got from the Super Bowl halftime show, here's something I tweeted out on X just after it ended. Out of touch Uncle Sam needs to get with the times and keep up with the pace of progress.
Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up! Oh, see you brought your homeboys with you. The old culture cheat code. Scorekeeper, deduct 1 life.
In big letters, warning, wrong way. There's your sign, America. We're headed the wrong way. Down the path of national ruin, in fact. And at the end of the performance, we see game over. Pretty much. Time's up on the great American game, great American experiment. Which is how Uncle Sam, played by Samuel L. Jackson, started the whole thing off. I guess that's something a lot of these genius influencers missed when they read that last game over part and associated it with the evil globalists. Well, he starts out the Super Bowl halftime show saying, "This is the great American game."
It's your Uncle Sam, and this is the great American game.
Revelations 13:11-17 says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceives them that dwell in the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and yet did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, both great and small, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." And if this isn't the first time that you've heard this interpretation of America and prophecy described as the lamb-like beast, let me remind you that even some early pre-Civil War era Americans, some 200 years ago, saw the fulfillment of these verses in the actions being taken by the U.S. government. Since I guess we're in the middle of Black History Month, this was written in 1857 by a Christian who struggled with the moral dilemma of the day. Slavery. Don't let anyone ever tell you that Christians weren't instrumental in the abolition of slavery. Uriah Smith, March 1857. "The animal has a dragon's heart. His disposition, his motives, intentions, desires are all like a dragon. His outward appearance, his horns, which must of course be prominent objects to the beholder, his open profession are all lamb-like. His appearance is good enough, and we might be led to look upon him as a whole, as quite an amiable creature, were it not that when he raises his voice in acts of authority, he speaks like a dragon. Is the inquiry now raised wherein the 2-horned beast has spoken like this? Wherein our government has issued unrighteous decrees contrary to his profession? We will notice, we do not claim that the dragon voice is yet fully developed, and the prophecy fully carried out in this respect. But enough has been heard of the identity of the beast, and to establish a precedent which we are justified in expecting almost any result. Says the Declaration of Independence, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and yet the same government that utters this sentiment, in the face of its declaration, will hold in abject servitude over 3,200,000 of human beings, rob them of those rights with which they acknowledge all men are endowed by their Creator, and write out a base denial of all their fair professions in characters of blood, in the institution of slavery, is more especially manifested, thus far, the dragon spirit that dwells in the heart of this hypocritical nation. The fearful strides which this government has made on this question up to the present affords small ground of hope for the future. Yeah, I can relate to those sentiments, having seen how putrid, how bloated, how disgustingly corrupt our government has become in its short 249-year history now since the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776.
And the answer to their 1984 tyranny is 1776! 1776!
When you hear Alex Jones refer to the Super Bowl halftime show as confirmation that we're seeing a great awakening in this country, I just thought I'd read a few passages here from another great awakening early in our country's history that had a little more to do with God than with pomp and display. So let's take a look at what a great awakening looked like, starting in the last decade of the 18th century and ending in the 1830s, according to scholars. The abolitionist movement, although possessing a unique revolutionary element, represented merely one aspect of a larger series of religious reforms that were sweeping the nation. These reform movements grew out of a great revival sweeping through America at this time, called the Second Great Awakening. The Second Great Awakening was probably the most influential revival of Christianity in American history. The leader most identified with the upstate New York revival was Charles Finney, lawyer turned preacher. Finney not only exalted human will in conversion and assurance of salvation, but also the ability to triumph over sin in the life of a Christian. During the 1830s, he began to link his moral reform campaign against alcohol and slavery. Finney argued that when individuals become truly converted, they're not engaged in either of these vices. While the First Great Awakening focused on personal conversion, the Second Great Awakening had broader aims. The goal was to bring about a Christian America, and slavery was a major obstacle on the road of perfecting American society. In order to achieve this utopian state, the revival had to be hitched to a new idea: reform. Reform became the watchword of early and mid-18th century America. This is where I begin to see a few parallels. As the world's wisest man, King Solomon, once put it, there's nothing new under the sun. And when I hear reform here in these words from some, like I said, 200 years ago almost, I see something similar on the world stage being played out today in this demolition going on of our bureaucracies and governments, being led out by this crusade of so-called Christian soldiers, right? Populists who have at least taken on the banner of the cross to arrive at God knows only what ends, right? So to continue on, reform movements sprang up everywhere. There were those who advocated for the rights of women, their promotion of peace, humane treatment of those imprisoned, and the abolition of slavery. Many revivalists took on the mantle of reform, and the result of revival and reform became twin sisters. No other reform crusade disrupted the churches more and shook the nation to its foundation than the anti-slavery movement. Many Northern Christian abolitionists agreed that slavery was sinful, but they did not all agree whether slavery should be abolished immediately or gradually. The Convention of Christian Abolitionists in New York in 1845 resolved the following: those who admit the sinfulness of slavery and yet vote for oppression, or for those who are connected with pro-slavery parties, are guilty of the most inconsistency and are undeserving of the name Christian patriots and unworthy to be recognized as true friends of the downtrodden Christianity. How many of the so-called Christian patriots out there today, typing away till their fingers bleed on social media, have expressed an ounce of moral outrage over the ongoing genocide campaign in Gaza? And how many will call out Trump for recently bypassing Congress to sell the war criminal Netanyahu another $7.4 billion in arms? The lamb-like beast of Revelation, literally selling hellfire missiles to the modern-day counterfeit of God's people. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship with the world is enmity with God? And whosoever therefore is a friend of the world is an enemy of God. The problem, as I see it, with the Alex Joneses of the world are that they're more interested in reaching a broader audience, making it big on the world stage, than they are interested in staying true to the profession of their faith, making a business out of the InfoWar, routinely asking for his listeners to fund his operations with the aim of defeating the globalists, which, come to think of it, isn't a whole lot different than prosperity preachers like Trump's pick for his White House faith office, Paula White, someone who is a proponent of a seed faith in which people are asked to send money to her ministry and have faith that this donation will act as a seed to create prosperity in their lives. The idea is that you will receive exponentially more back from God than you have given, which is working for her at least, right? As she's now a multimillionaire.
So I'm challenging you right now. I want you to hear from God. God already spoke to me what I'm to write out. You're going to write your checks to Paula White Ministry, because this is Power Night. It's different than City of Destiny, all right? This is Power Night. If I want to bless City of Destiny, we'll bless City of Destiny with all of it, but you're going to get a check. If you want to text to give, you can do so. If you want to give by Alexio, you can do so, but every single person gets something significant.
And now this false prophetess is apparently in good with the Trump campaign. Yes, another prime example of another of the Scarlet Harlot's daughters, Mystery Babylon, the Roman Church, who herself, made a business of selling indulgences, which was basically like a get-out-of-purgatory free pass issued by the church to believers for their sins, or even their dead relatives who were still somehow stuck in this imaginary place called purgatory, completely invented by the Roman Catholic Church. A large part of the funds raised in the construction of St. Peter's Basilica was paid for by indulgences. It was a disgusting practice that would later help actually kick off the Reformation, as it inspired outrage in a devout Catholic priest and theologian called Martin Luther, who saw the sale of indulgences as an abuse of the Church's authority and a misrepresentation of the Christian faith. Real revolutionaries speak truth to power, no matter who it offends, no matter what the consequences. Being a true Christian isn't a popularity contest. It means standing for what's right, no matter the outcome. And Christ even warned his followers what life would look like if they remained faithful to his teachings in this fallen world. In John 15:18 through 25, Jesus said, "If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hates me hates my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this comes to pass, that the word might be fulfilled, that is written in the law. They hated me without a cause."
will not. I can't. You're a son. I could do not.
Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope this podcast helped bring some light to the dark topic. My aim is always to dive a little deeper into what makes us tick, to get people to think, even if it takes a superficial topic like this one to get us there. If you enjoy the show, please like, subscribe with all notifications clicked. And if you feel so moved, you can even buy me a coffee, or nowadays you can even leave me a super thanks on YouTube. Appreciate everybody out there for listening. Until next time, God bless. This is Nightwatch N8, signing out.